What's going on? We got a crazy topic today talking about pair bondings due to too many sexual partners. And you already know what my take is kind of going to be.
Rico's gonna say it's the women having too much sex, blah 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 blah. Y'all already know how that goes.
All right. Settle down. I'm here to diffuse all of that. But before I get into it, I have the lovely
Shanta Blue, your NJ sex therapist, here to bring you some facts.
pair bonding.
Miss Sex Therapist.
Was it sex
What
all
is
day?
pair bonding?
Was it your name Sex All Day again? You said no.
You wish.
You wish.
So, pair bonding is pretty much when, animals, species, decide to be monogamous with one of their same species, whether that is nesting together, raising children together. And for a lot of mammals, it's really just for a mating season. For humans, we tend to try to pair bond for life, right? So we find our one person, if you believe in a soulmate, all that good stuff. And then you just try to stick with it and hold on tight.
I have a question for you. Do you think that humans could possibly have mating seasons? Is that hot girl summer?
I mean, it's literally a whole season. We talk about cuffing season all the time, right? We have ebbs and flows of our hormones and what we like and don't like in our partners. So it's definitely possible to have seasons, right? It all depends on what you're looking for.
It's probably the weather. Like if you're in a place where it's always warm and nice and stuff, it's always mating season.
Yeah.
But then when the weather turns, you gotta like find somebody to lock it down with, so you can
Stay warm.
Exactly, so you can stay with them in the inside.
Right.
So my thing is, do you believe that pair bonding is realistic in today's society? Because things are forever changing, trends are forever changing, and I'm not saying abolish it, but do you? Because back then it was just like that was the way. Now, do you think like right now it's realistic?
I do, right? I feel like folks need to figure out what works best for themselves, right? What is good for their reality and how they want their life to be. So if that means having this one partner and just building something with them and figuring out how that dynamic looks between them, that's it. If they want to date multiple people, maybe be in polyamorous relationships, then they can do that as well. And there's a thing called solo poly out there as well, where like they're in loving romantic relationships with folks, but nothing to where there may not be nesting with someone. They may not want to have like that full-fledged relationship with them, but they still love them and care for them and want to be with them.
What is that called? Solo poly?
Solo poly.
I never heard of that.
I think I've been solo poly majority of my life. I have a question, right?
I hope it goes into the next question. Yeah, I hope that goes into it.
Is it possible, or anything is possible, but is it realistic and maybe even often that pair bonding, so let's just say if, I have a pair bonding with somebody at 20, then I have one at 22, then I have one at 23. By the time I'm 30, I'd have had 7 pair bondings. Do you think that we as people tend to take all of our pair bondings and then compare our last pair bondings to whatever is our new potential pair bonding because they held so much weight to us?
It definitely is possible, right? So, we build and grow in relationships, right? We take information that we've learned from the previous one to go into our next one and hopefully have a better relationship and let that be the last one. But shit happens. So you never know what it can develop into, like, because people do grow, people do shift, and like life happens. So you can't possibly determine or predict what that's going to look like for the next relationship.
You were like solo poly for a minute, that's considered adding bodies. And then you were talking about the multiple pair bondings and you would hope it should last. So that sounds like a lot of partners, from now until you settle down. So with all those partners, do you feel like it could be detrimental to the pair bonding and, you wanting something real? Because now you just been this person of just sex, or been pair bonding failed.
Pair bonding fail.
I mean, there's been some sex. So it's like
failed relationships.
So that transition now to find something that's yours, how does that look?
When you go through relationships, it's important to do assessments. Figure out, okay, what shit did you bring into this relationship and what shit are you taking out of this relationship now?
I remember a long time ago. Shout out to Eight at the Table. We've been around since 2018, and I'm bringing something from over there, right? Hopefully we can find that and we can share that source for everybody. But they were saying, and don't quote me verbatim, if a man had about 30 or more partners, he was less likely to be able to settle down or be monogamous or faithful in a monogamous relationship. Could that also be what, like, well, not could, because we already know it could be and could not, right? But what I'm saying is that I feel like that is a big thing when it comes to pair bonding, is when you do have so many different experiences, and if you deem them as bonds, right, rather than just experiences, it gets so hard because you start comparing everything that you had good, and no one person is ever going to be able to fulfill all of these different experiences that you've had in your life.
And that's where I say the healing has to come in, and you recognize, what happened in these relationships, what you brought to these relationships, like all of that, right? So if you are really doing the work to say, like, hey, I am great at this, I'm not really great at other things, and now in this new relationship, you're telling your new partner about that, right?
Yeah.
You're understanding who they are and not trying to compare them to previous relationships. So we as humans, when we have too many choices, we get stuck. We get that analysis paralysis, and we're like, shit, I don't know which way to go. But if we can find a way, right?
And you can't.
You can't always have it all. You have to learn about acceptance of yourself, acceptance of the partner that you're currently with, and not try to compare.
Yeah. It's hard, though. If you go to, let's say you go to Vegas and then you go to Miami. You went there 1 year for 4th of July, then you went to the next 4th of July. You're like, well, which one was better? I think that it's like almost a natural thing for us to compare everything in our life, right? You can have this green blouse, it looks dope, and then you have another green blouse, and you're like, well, this green blouse slightly is better than that one. But you know what? Like, for whatever reason, you choose whatever you choose. And I think that we also do that with our partners.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, like, and I'm speaking solo, like, on my behalf, because I've caught myself doing that many times, because I'm like, yo, my ex would never. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You know what I'm saying? Like this don't exist here. You know what I mean? But granted, I had a pair bonding with both of these people in a different way. And I don't like the idea of pair bonding, like too many of them. I don't, because
You don't like it at all, or
I don't like too many of them. Like, I think everything needs to be limited, because when you have too many, it's like you just end up in no man's land. Not everybody, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people end up in no man's land because they don't take that time to reflect.
So essentially, you're saying that people shouldn't have too many romantic, committed relationships in their lifetime.
they should be more casual.
I wouldn't even say committed or casual. I would just say romantic
Well, you better
relationships.
say what you really trying to say.
No, I'm saying,
I already know what you're trying to say.
no, I'm saying you shouldn't be having a lot of romantic relationships, committed or casual, is what I'm saying. Because what ends up happening is you have too much of your life. You have too many experiences and then comparisons.
So then we just go to matchmaking, right?
Which I am actually a big fan of. I'm like, yo, matchmake them and them, go to love. Hopefully it works. They actually have a higher success
let
rate.
your family and your friends put you together with some random person that you've never met in your entire life, and then go for it.
Yeah.
Some cultures still believe in that, and it
Yep.
works perfectly for them. So
I
is that
think
a societal thing that we should do?
It's a societal, or maybe
Not in America.
American?
Not in America, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not in America.
We need it in America because that's part of our problem.
You know why I
that's
say
part of our
that?
problem.
Because suppose your soulmate is somebody you're not attracted to, though. I'm just saying, suppose the right person for you is someone that, isn't all that great looking in the face. Let's be Let's be clear. What do you do? Like, hey, Granny, thanks. Like, did you wear your glasses that day? You brought her to me. You brought Mildred to me. Like
Mildred.
Like, come
Shout out to
on.
Mildred.
Yeah. Give me a Sasha.
Yeah,
something.
but Sasha.
Like, come on now.
But Oliver, would you really?
Mildred might put that thing on you though.
Exactly. Mildred might make you call yourself Daddy O.
Listen,
Right.
While Sasha's making you call yourself Oliver Luke.
I didn't say what I was gonna say next. Go ahead.
And Mildred gonna make you a pot of greens,
Yeah.
some oxtails,
You have a
some-
good life with Mildred.
right, some
Love
macaroni.
can grow over time. They don't need to be the baddest thing in the room. Like as long as you can connect and respect and care for each other.
That sounds so poetic.
Like just not necessarily like being the most physically attracted to
For
the person
real.
that we select.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Because-
messed
because
up.
they
can
check
make us
off-
laugh
because they
can
check off all the other
protect
boxes.
us,
What to say,
all this
yeah.
stuff.
And then for the, but that just, well, that also falls into gender roles too, right? Because then the guy's like, oh, well, if I'm checking off all these boxes, right, to live, to survive, I just need a woman to check off a couple of my boxes. And a lot of times it's physical for men, you know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, you check that box off, then we can make the rest work.
Arranged marriages can be very fulfilling, particularly if you have family and friends who really know you and can
you're
see
open
a
to it.
side of you that maybe you can't see. They
Yep.
might be able to pick a good partner
You
for
open
you.
to it?
Hell yeah, I'm open to that.
I'm gonna catch her now. So what if your man, right, lived in Brooklyn? Because you talked about.
Here we go.
No, we go. I'm gonna tell you off camera. She said she would not go to Brooklyn. Let's not never, but she don't want to go to Brooklyn. She
Yeah.
don't ever
like
want to be there.
Brooklyn.
So if your man happened to be in Brooklyn, what's up? Flatbush.
He gonna have to move to Jersey.
Wow. See?
She didn't say no.
I didn't say no. He's just gonna have to move to Jersey.
She already has her name. She's not the Flatbush sex specialist.
She's a New Jersey.
I'm a Jersey girl.
Has any of you have any of you ever experienced a couple that was I guess like arranged to some degree, match made, and what's your take on their relation? Like, do you find it being successful?
So one out, and I know like one of my good friends, she pretty much had an arranged marriage, and they're still together. They have 3 children. I ain't gonna lie, when she got married, we were kind of like, oh, where this Negro come from? Like it because we had never heard of him. We didn't know anything about him. It wasn't anyone that she had been dating that we had known about or whatever. And then she up and just go to another country and
What's
come
her
back
background?
married. Nigerian.
She come back married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it playing over there?
Well, she actually had a white wedding here, so I was actually in the wedding. But like,
It's a white wedding.
so in their culture, you have like your traditional, and then you have your white wedding. White wedding is just like the formal wedding that we know. You know.
Oh, I thought because he was a white man. I said, damn, that's messed up.
No, he's Nigerian.
Because it's in America.
Yeah.
Like, sheesh.
They just call it a white wedding.
Where's the black one?
America.
And so, I mean, from the outside looking in, they appear to have a successful marriage. You know, they're still together. They've probably been married 10 years or close to 10 years or whatever. You know, they have a business to get. Well, they have jobs professionally, but they also have like a successful business together. Again, from the outside looking in, it looks
Yeah.
like it works. You know,
Still never know. Yeah.
but
So outside looking in.
yeah, I really don't know the dynamic of, you know, the inner workings of their relationship.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Because their relationship could be in the same position as mine or our other friend, or you know what I mean? So you just
Yeah.
don't know. But I do believe this. I do believe that there is value in other people vetting the person that you, and somebody just said
Yeah.
this, there's value in other people vetting who you decide to marry, because it's never just 2 individuals marrying. It's families marrying. It's cultures coming together. There's just a lot of things that we as individuals may not consider that are important and
Well, you
need
better
to be
hope
considered.
who's
You know,
doing the vetting process isn't biased. Just saying, because as much as you may, oh, my mom and dad got me, you never know what people,
but
what
we're-
side they show
we're
you.
biased. That's the thing. We're biased.
Yeah, there's bias coming from both sides of the spectrum.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
I-
we're looking
And your
for
bias isn't
perfection.
working. Right?
Exactly.
Like our bias isn't working, my bad.
No,
You
it's
guys
right.
would have your family vet the next person.
Yeah.
You would?
Yo, my mom would do a great job, but she's very thorough. Like,
Do you think that she would end up pairing you with the same person that you yourself would select?
That's a great question. Do I think so? I do. I do. The reason that to some capacity, well, yeah, I don't need her help, but because I got it. You know what I'm saying? I did it, but what I'm gonna say is I do think so because the morals that was instilled and the ethics that was instilled in me came from her.
Right.
So like you couldn't be a woman that's not hardworking. That came from my mother. That I've learned that she taught me that. You know. So like my girls and my girlfriends in my past, they were always hardworking to some degree. Whether they had 2 jobs and then one was at Foot Locker and one was at McDonald's and we was 20 years old, it did not matter. You know what I'm saying? That's just like some of the morals that she's instilled in me that I believe she would pick too. Could I be wrong? I could be wrong because we talking about what is, but I believe that that's what it would be.
But outside of hardworking, like, do you think she would be able to identify someone who was emotionally intelligent, someone who intelligent, who could stimulate you on that level? Do you think she would find someone with the aesthetic that you like, somebody with the attitude that you like, somebody with the money management skills that you like, somebody with the ability to listen that you like?
Yeah, I think.
Rico now,
well, me and my mom. See, that's the best thing. Me and my mom have been open since I was as young as when I was like 14 years old. I was telling my mom, like, yo, listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing out here. You know what I'm saying?
No, you ain't go to your mama talk about, yo, listen.
Yeah, I promise you. Me and my that's the type of relationship. That's the type of relationship that I have with my mom. I talk to my mom just as if I talk to anybody else, but I have a different level of respect, of course. Like I'm that kid at 15 years old. I asked my mom, "When did you lose your virginity?" That's the type of kid.
Your mom what's her body count?
I never asked her that. I never asked that. And so this is the person who taught me how to be so transparent to get to what I got. And that's why, since as a young adult, I'm talking 20, 21 years old, I've had a lot of success in picking my spouses because of the things that she had already instilled in me. So I do believe she would pick somebody similar. You know, intellect is big in my household. Like, we do not play with you cannot be in this house if you are not smart. It doesn't work that way. Miss Batista does not play that. like, you feel me? My mom is an educator. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things. I think personally, yes, my mom would be able to pick a good person for me.
I, Oliver Luke, do not trust mom, grandma, sister, dad, friends to pick the one for me. Because you know why? I'm going to tell you why. It's this simple. If that mother effer fails, I'm looking at all of you as the ops. I'm looking at all of you as the ops because, and I mean, I'm not hoping you guys fail. I'm not hoping it. I mean,
but what if you failed them?
Right.
Well, then that's okay. I look in the mirror and say, Oliver, you messed up.
Like, they done talked you up to this person, told them
and
all
then you
about
turn
the
out to
good
be
things.
trash.
That's cool.
Hot garbage. Right? You know?
But she won't be able to complain to my family, right? Because she don't got the access.
You never know. They might start liking her more than they like you.
Well, my point
and
is,
you gotta go.
I couldn't do it because I just don't. Too many cooks in a pot spoil the food. That's just my opinion, and I don't want all these people to have that access. You know, like, hey, how are you guys doing? Remember the girl I set you at ease? Okay, good, thank you, real good. Because then you're gonna feel you have this level of access or comfortability because you set this up, and I get it. You set it up and it's working or not working. You know, No, I just don't trust it. I don't want nobody to have any input. I've learned over time that less people know about your relationship, to me, the better, in my opinion. But am I knocking anyone else? No, because it's not a definitive answer. But for me, nah, couldn't do it.
I agree with the second part of that. Like, a lot of things that go south is because you had too many inputs on your relationship.
Oh, yeah. But I don't. So do you think, is that typically how it goes? Where, and again,
yeah.
For arranged marriages, that there's so many like cooks in the.
Because think about it, you trusted me, right? You trusted your family and friends to find this person, right? You were open to the process. When you're open to the process, it's like when you said you marry in the family, those opinions are, you know, especially if they actually had. That's like somebody saying, "Rico, I'll put you on." Right, like, all right, cool, thanks.
Now you're talking about pride. Now that's
but that you cannot think that it won't.
That won't exist like that. I mean, I don't know.
I think it depends on the cultural stance too, right?
Yeah.
Most people will probably have just their immediate family helping them in terms of that matchmaking process. They may not have like auntie, uncle, and them and the cousins. It's not going to be
Depends.
everybody.
I mean,
It
depends.
does depend.
Mhm.
But like it's traditionally the parents or
Right.
whoever that,
Yeah.
parental figure in your life was. If you have close siblings that you really value their judgment and their, attention to certain details. Like I think my sisters know me pretty well. I think they would be able to match me with somebody, right?
I want to hear this update.
Personally, like aesthetically, I don't think because I'm all over the place aesthetically, but like personality wise, yeah, I would definitely
Your soulmate
be
could be
open
on
to
Flavor
it.
Flav. How was that? Whoa, what happened to your neck? Why your neck went that way? It went south. What happened to your neck? Why it went south? Wait.
I'ma have to
Wow, and you taking a shot? Wow. NJ, what happened? What's going
There's
on?
no which ism do this fall up
This ain't
under?
no ism, right? You just said you've been all over the place, so why Flavor Flav can't be your soulmate? He'll relocate to Jersey.
I gotta look at you every day. I gotta make sure I can
Facts.
I feel
look.
like you probably live in Jersey right now. I'm just
You
saying.
do.
One of my friends who also is my business partner, who I've known since 2014. So we're almost approaching a decade. I've watched him be single. I watched his parents, they're Indian. I watched his parents and immediate people have the whole arranged marriage. I watched him arrange his wife's brother's marriage,
Wow.
and I saw how their dynamic was. Not saying that everybody is, but it's not like you only get one chance. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
they show you, and he's like, nah, I'm good.
Right.
Nah, I'm good. Okay, let's see this. And then there's actually like a good little vetting process that goes throughout the arranged marriage matchmaking thing. So it's not like here is Flavor Flav. He's good for you. Stick with
It's
it.
not
Like-
married at first
Exactly.
sight. where You just show
you
up to the
explained it
altar.
perfectly.
My bad. All right. Still, Flavor Flav still might be
They
your
giving
soulmate.
you a smorgasbord of options,
Yeah.
and you choose who you want to go out on a date with, and then if it clicks, you keep dating, and if
Well, I
it
hope
doesn't,
you
it
attract. Hope
doesn't.
they bring you 4 different versions of Flavor Flav. You gonna pick one.
Wait, y'all. So listen, I have an Indian friend. We actually used to work together, and we still stay in touch. And he was telling me about like his process every time we talk, like how things are going as far as like the arranged marriage. And one of his siblings was arranged, and everything worked out with them. And now it seems like the people that his parents are picking for him is like no.
Yep.
No, like nobody is meeting. I think they're meeting like the bare minimum standard that he has, but like the connection, the vibe, like the synergy, the
Yeah.
look, it is not there. So
I feel sorry
he
for the
keeps
girl
passing.
that's being told no to her face though. Like that also
Damn.
hurts.
I
Like
mean, people get told no every day.
no, but just think about it, right? Like your parent brought this girl over and she talked you up, and then like damn, that girl, like damn, because the no is not told via text. It's not a kite. you got to like so it's like 10 no's.
No, it's not to the face. It's not to the face like
How
that.
they gonna get told no?
Bro, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't want the arranged marriage. Somebody get hurt. I'm good. After you show up with a rose,
You know how many no's you probably swiped on Tinder?
but
Right.
that's different.
That's the same exact thing.
But the whole
And the yeses did what? You started texting.
Wait,
Then you
y'all.
linked up in Brooklyn.
So let's go. We're on a tangent. Let's go back to pair bonding.
yes.
Yeah.
I have a question, and this is actually to Rico, because I'm not gonna say I already.
You don't know anything,
No, that's what I'm
Aaron.
saying.
Stop.
Let
You're not
me-
a fortune
That's
teller.
what I said. You're
Miss
right.
Cleo.
I'm not clairvoyant. So
Arranged answer.
So let me backtrack. A lot of times when this topic of pair bonding comes up, it's always slanted towards, oh well, women shouldn't have so many partners because it keeps them from being able to bond with a potential mate or blah 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 whatever. So I want to know, like, do you think that argument applies to like both sexes, and do you think that all these forays into relationships or whatever, that we're doing more harm than not by trying to having these unsuccessful relationships, you know what I mean, trying to find the one?
Aaron is my good dear friend, guys. Like even today, I brought my Apple Watch charger for her, so she could charge her Apple Watch. But I've realized that sometimes she doesn't listen to when I speak. because the stat that I gave earlier was about men having more than 30 partners. So I do think that it is both ways. And I'm telling you from a guy who's had a good amount of partners, you can compare. And it's like, damn, I don't want to be married to this because I know that was out of this world. You get different levels of 10s now. So before, if you only had 10 partners, your level of 10 could really be Rico's level of 5.
That's true.
But as you continue to process or progress throughout all of these pair bondings and sexual experiences, that level of 10 is now going higher and higher and higher. And it's usually with the ones that you're not going to want to keep. Right? So now the one that you want to keep is so far down on that sex pedestal for you, right? That it's like, damn, I'm kind of sacrificing. And I realized that everybody does not want to sacrifice in the beginning. And that's the part where I think is detrimental, and I do think it applies to both sexes.
Yeah, I would agree. I do feel like it's like a muscle, right? Anything you do repetitively, you're like, okay, you're expert at it. Training for basketball, whatever. So if you train yourself, I'm not beautiful, or I'm having all these flings and whatever, and we was talking off camera, it will be a challenge to find that one because you've been so accustomed to a certain lifestyle. So because I struggle with that myself, like been just having casual sex, and the only thing for some people, they don't enjoy it. Thank God I enjoyed all of mine, because some people would have the casual sex and they'd be like, damn, why did I do this? They feel like they regret it. Most of the time,
I hate that.
regret. Yeah. So
like,
thank God,
ugh.
but yeah, it is something to detox yourself from if you're trying to be committed. But my I'm gonna throw this to you, and then Aaron, whoever you could take after. It is hard to to stay. It's a challenge to stay away from the casual, because do you say, well, the only time I have sex when I'm in a relationship? And there are some people, what if people that don't subscribe to that?
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm not an advocate for abstinence, and I'm not for it. That's whoever want to choose. But for those people, like, I guess, are in between, like, what about those people?
Right. It's really looking within to see, like, okay, am I willing to sacrifice the casual sex, the instant gratification
Facts.
of finding a partner just to fuck, right? Or am I willing to be like, okay, I'm gonna wait until I find somebody who is my equal, who is my partner, who I can really see a relationship with. Like, so you're kind of sometimes going through, okay, should I just focus on my physical needs while I'm trying to figure out the emotional stuff, or focus only on the emotional until I can find that person?
I have a question. So hold on. So does that mean that a person should
Put your pen down. We're not in court.
Wait. So does that mean that it makes sense to maybe have someone that you're having sex with consistently on the side? Y'all got an understanding of what the situation is while you're out trying to find someone who you emotionally, mentally, et cetera,
I mean,
can connect with.
That would be ideal. However, shit pops off in those like no strings attached relationships, friends with benefits relationships, right? They can work if, again, the boundaries are set. We know we're not, really looking into a full-fledged relationship. And sometimes somebody gets deeper emotions
all the time.
Things change in your lifestyle, so you need a little bit more and a little bit less, depends on what it is. So I mean, that would be the ideal situation.
That shit is not realistic, bro.
Like
every time you say no strings attached, if it's still going on for 2 years, now there's ropes. There are ropes.
It may not be long term, right? You may be able to create that dynamic.
You better cut them.
Sometimes may not be able to go past a year or two.
But I wanted to say something to Oliver, right? Because when he was talking about the casual sex and it's hard to turn it down, right? I was the same exact way. But I think that at some point, and I'm not saying that you don't.
Yeah.
As a man, you gotta value yourself. The more you value yourself as a man, the less casual sex you're going to be having, or you'll have casual sex with just, a specific 1, 2, 3, however many people.
I agree 1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? And it's hard because as a dude, we get praised. You know what I'm saying? If I could go ahead and hit one every day of the week, you had a weekly roster? You're the GOAT, right? And it's cool to experience because I personally believe men do technically need to have a lot of sex with different women because it's hard to please a woman in bed. And they need to learn the woman's anatomy like the back of their hand. And there's only one way to do that, and that's through practice. But
practice with that woman, though.
Yeah, but you don't got too much time nowadays in 2022. If you give her 1 week night, you might end up on the shade room. But yeah, you just gotta value yourself.
He gave me the most trash dick in life.
They had the nerve to tell me to submit. Like that's
you.
That's what.
Rico been seeing the group chats. You been in your girlfriend phone,
right? You know.
Nah, I don't want to. I just want to stay out of that.
So wait, you tell me if you don't put it down, you can't respect them? And he's good in every aspect?
Oh my God.
That's what y'all say?
No, it's not.
Respect is earned in the bedroom, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
It's not.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Respect is earned in so many other facets
Okay,
of your life.
the bedroom or the bank account. Those are the only two ways you get respect.
You can't do that, Rico. You can't do that. Nah. Because you're limiting yourself.
No, listen, what I would say is this. If we was
it's reducing you to just a piece of meat.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yo, to be honest, right? Initially, it is what it is, right? Initially, you are a piece of meat, man or woman, right?
I'm not subscribing to that.
You don't have to casual sex, right?
Listen, I no longer live in that space anymore. All right.
You're a changed man.
redeemed.
How do you say his name, Aaron?
These glasses?
Oliver.
That's Oliver.
City shades. I don't see those things anymore. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's crazy though. Real think about it, right? Because you met the one, right? Or close to the one, and he's not trash in bed, but he doesn't put it down, and he's
Sex can be learned.
Thank you.
What if this
You
guy is a
can
dunce?
teach someone
What if he dunce in
to
the
have
bedroom?
better sex with you.
What if he's a dunce in the bedroom?
Wait,
Just
can
keep
you give us
working
some
with
tips on how we do that?
I'm still not good at math, so I'm letting you know that now. I'm 37. I'm still not good at math.
There are classes.
3 plus 2 is
How much summer
17.
school I did?
You might just need more hands-on rather than reading in a book or
Right.
having somebody lecture to you. You might be good with more kinesthetic learning. That's
you are so patient.
Hands-on. Yes, you got to be
I'm gonna use
patient
that.
with it.
Touch like that. That's how I learned.
So we got
That's why you hire people like me, like sex therapists, to teach you that it can be whatever way you want sex to look
you
like.
really think everyone on this earth
Yes.
is teachable?
Yes.
Yes.
No, hell no.
I
Come on,
do.
That's not
They're
duality.
trainable. I just gotta ask this question, right? What was the longest time it took one of your clients,
Clients. I use
clients
figure it
to
out.
learn?
to pass the STDs.
That's actually a good question. That's a good question, though.
And then also, what's the average learning time frame?
It really ranges based off of how much work you're willing to put into it, right? And how open you are to being taught and, open to different aspects of sexuality that maybe you never considered before. But I would say the shortest amount of time was probably like 3 sessions that I had with a couple. And the longest, I've worked with a couple for about 2 years.
What she really was trying to say is
it's a work in progress.
she's still working. Exactly.
Like, yeah, like
Did they get it?
continues. They get piece by piece, right? And so they get something and then they
that
master it and they love it and they're like, okay, let's take this a step further.
Do you check? This is gonna be bad.
Hurry up and ask. I got.
I was gonna say, do you check like when they fill out their forms, right?
Not the form.
Do you check like what level of education that they might have had?
That's a good point.
So that is included in my forms, in my intake forms. I ask, what level of education they have and what their careers are.
Yeah.
Yo, so
I don't want to put anybody on blast, right? But the longest couple, did they have good educational backgrounds?
You know
You know
girls
what?
say,
I was about. I
broke,
was.
but you know what big women say?
I
They had,
figured.
they had master's degrees.
Because a lot of women say broke guys have the best sex, right? So he knows nothing else. All he got time to do is sex, but he got masters. He's trying to build empire. That's what it is. He's trying to do too much. So he's trying to, I want to own this car company. I'm trying to own this building. I'm trying to make, see, that's why.
Yeah, part of it was that
And
he
you find the
was
best
a
sex
little
in
bit
brother.
of a late bloomer. He really was focused
There
on
we
his
go.
career
Wait,
and
can
building
you start
it.
that over? You said a keyword that I wanted
He
to.
was a little bit of a late bloomer,
Boom,
so
boom, boom, boom.
he hadn't had sex until probably
25.
it wasn't quite 25, but it was college.
23.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're
For some
losing your
people it is.
virginity? A man losing his virginity?
That is
Some
kind of
people.
late.
And this was a term
New Jersey,
he
it's
used. I
late.
would not use that term. He used the term late bloomer because he waited until like the end of college to have
Shout out
sex.
to him.
And-
Wait, was it like a church thing?
No, it was just like he didn't know what to do.
He was
He was just-
intimidated by the
yeah.
woman's.
And his wife was very well versed in sex.
How did that even
I
happen?
told you what
Opposite
happens,
attracts.
guys.
Opposite attracts.
No, it's called being taught. He was learned. Look, because I don't even want to talk about this because that's gonna make me upset.
Yeah, like how do we bring up like taboo like
Dispel.
things that we want to do like with our partner?
Oh yeah, I love a good teachable moment. That's what I call it. I got that from when I taught a sex ed program for high schoolers. I would teach them about sex ed, and then they would teach younger grades, right? And so it was called Teachable Moments. You share an article, erotic novel, maybe some porn, an Audible, whatever it is that turned you on and got you excited. You share that with your partner and be like, hey, what do you think about this? I saw this and I was curious what your thoughts were. And then that helps you gauge their level
Where
of
they are,
comfortability
yeah.
with it. And if they're good to go, you'd be like, oh, so I would like to try this. How about we do this one night?
No.
No, not
It
you.
helps.
Not you.
Oh.
I'm talking about like the dude, the girl, be like, yeah, I saw this in a book. No, you didn't. Like,
Oh, you did it before.
yeah, no, you didn't.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
A
like
lot of times that's what happens, though.
either your
We
homie
love a
told
good
you.
erotic novel. I love a good, not a 50 Shades of Grey, but like something a little bit kinkier. Yes, I love
Kinkier.
that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you share it with them. If they get a little turned off, like I wouldn't really like that, then maybe that could lead to a deeper conversation about, okay, so what about this don't you like? Because I don't like to say why. I don't like to ask why. But what about this kind of turns you off? And, that can go to a deeper conversation as well. And if it really is something that you really want to try and you can't move past it, that's when you hire a therapist. You hire some professional to help you kind of discuss some of these
I
issues.
feel that because like if you don't want to get choked, and I gotta choke somebody, I'm sorry, and I gotta be choked. So
I need
like
my hand around your neck.
Yeah.
So that's a deal breaker for you? A guy that don't like to choke?
it's not a deal breaker, but like she said, it's something we gotta work through. But I'm just saying, like, it's one of those, like for instance, say a woman who's like, yeah, I'm just not really into giving head,
No,
like,
not gonna work.
what? But
There's
she
no
made.
therapist. There's no therapist for that.
Okay, well,
Cause she said it. I'm not here to change you.
could you talk about like what
What
about
makes you
giving
uncomfortable
head
about it?
makes
And
her
then let's say it was a
uncomfortable?
traumatic situation for her, right? Because it could be.
well, that's different.
And no, it's not.
But that's
Because
why you
there's
hire
no
a
reason.
therapist.
You hire a therapist to
No,
work through that.
No. But in that moment, right?
But
see, But she said it right
To
in
the
that
left.
moment, and let's say
I
it
went
was
to one.
traumatic. See, that's triggering. See, you go.
we gotta get
some,
you used to
some
the-
more exposure therapy, but not just
Yeah,
slapping
not
a dick on the
slapping
face.
a
Like
dick
that's a
on
little
the face.
Go ahead, do it.
You see, Aaron says choke and throw penises on the face to fix it. Here at 8 at the table, Aaron said just choke me and throw
That's
penis
called
on the face.
immersive therapy.
Wow, you just made that up. No, we're not signing off on that, please. No.
This is
There
not
are
medical
immersive
advice.
therapeutic
Oh,
techniques. But not that.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
We not
Don't
slapping
give
dicks
her
in
that
the
credit.
face.
Thank you. Don't you dare.
All right.
Please. No, but
Sorry, guys.
I mean, but if it's traumatic, I mean, you could do therapy all you want, but I always look at it like if that's been traumatic for you for all those years before I got in the picture, you should have been doing that work yourself, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if I had whatever problems I'm going on, and I know it's gonna come up in my relationship at some point. Let me do the work before I get with someone else, because now that trauma is kind of my trauma. That burden is not my burden. So you went through all this time
That's
with
fair.
this trauma, then now it comes up, and it's like, didn't you think at some point you're gonna suck dick? Like, didn't you think this was gonna come up,
What if she had a partner who didn't care?
ma'am? That's what I'm gonna say, man. Well,
I also think
Oliver checks out.
Oliver, I
That's
also
me.
think that it depends on the transparency that you're having in your relationship.
Very true.
Because if you are transparent about whatever trauma, whatever the issue that you may have endured, and your partner knows about it, that's both of your ability to fix now. Because once you sign off and saying, okay, cool, I understand that this has happened, and now I'm still, I'm entering this relationship and I'm proceeding full-fledged, that is now mine as well. So it's a part of my duty
It
to
was a
figure
choice.
out how to maneuver around this and, whatever the case may be. So I just,
If it was that point, yes. But there's some people that's not always that transparent, and they just figure like
we
it
get
may
to
not
therapy
come
and I just find out that you had all this stuff.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's-
That
you
means
do
I didn't
no
ask the right questions.
I agree.
You got to be open and vulnerable, and
Yeah.
also thinking if my partner didn't feel safe to be vulnerable with me,
Why is that?
what
Yeah.
happened that
I'm
not
trash.
there?
What am I? Hot garbage.
Slop. All right, I'm being country. Let me be quiet.
I got a question. But from your journeys of being a sex therapist, right? What has been the most challenging and most interesting things you've come across?
That's a good question. I think challenging is dealing with folks who are just extremely closed-minded about, their partner's desires, right? So because of some limiting beliefs that they have had on their own, they're not willing to accept that their partner has these specific desires, right? So that's very frustrating to me. I mean, I'm able to help them work through it. And, if this is someone you say you love and you cherish, and now you're just judging them for, their desires, their kinks, whatever you want to call it, like that's fucked up to me, right? And so how come you aren't open to be able to say, like, I may not understand this, but because I love you, I can accept that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, what are some of the things like that specifically that some people just aren't open to because of like their limited beliefs or whatever their traumas and childhood experiences are?
They're usually not open to any form of like anal sex. That's still a huge, taboo concern.
But on which side?
Oh boy.
I'm just curious.
Maybe both. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Honestly.
I have some.
If you don't
I have
allow your
limiting
girl,
beliefs.
that
I
means-
have limiting
Trauma?
beliefs.
Is that a trauma for you?
It's
Rico?
not no trauma. It's called preference.
Oh, see, that's the flip. See, you should never said that because people gonna use that as a cop out now. They're gonna use that as a
Like,
cop
that's
out.
just my own preference. I don't want anything touching me there. Like,
It's one thing to say, like, nah, that's not my jam. I don't want to try that. It's another thing to, like, shame your partner for it and
Yeah.
poo-poo
Yeah.
what,
That makes
they're into. I would probably say, just in general, sex seems to always be penis-centered for a lot of my couples and not recognizing that there's so many other body parts out
wait,
here.
what do you mean by penis centered?
So it's all about the arousal of the penis, penetration, using the penis. And once the penis has full arousal and orgasm and ejaculation,
That's
then
it.
they're done,
Right.
right? When there are
Get you a Taurus.
plethora of other behaviors and activities that do not involve penis or penetration.
Are you trying to tell me that majority of these cases are men not being able to hit it right?
No, that is not the
No,
case.
man, it's only about the men and never
Yeah.
about the women.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're not able to offer an exceptional experience.
When a woman possibly doesn't know her own body to make her get to that point, is that possible? Like, I don't understand why is it all penis centered.
Because there's
Because
some men
that's
that's like it's about me.
patriarchy. Because men are always like, well, I'm enjoying myself with sex. Like, I don't
Oh,
understand
they're selfish.
why. Yeah.
Why aren't you?
Okay, they're selfish. I got it. I've been like that. I have a great question for you because, like, it's just like everybody's occupations are always dope to hear why they chose that.
Oh yeah.
So, like, how did you land on this occupation, career path, and like, what was some of the, I guess, pivotal moments towards your decision making on it?
That's probably one of my favorite questions to ever get asked.
Thank you. I appreciate
love
it.
answering that question. It was really a lifelong journey. Like, even in high school, I was that girl. Even though I wasn't having sex like that, I was that girl. My
freaky.
friends would ask questions,
Right,
things
50
like
Cent.
that, and like,
Ooh, did he
spit in your
all
mouth?
and I'm like, oh girl, what you did? Like, I didn't know about sex like that, but they would ask me questions about sex or tell me their
So you
whole
just
life
look like
story.
sex from young? That's what it was?
I
She was that friend.
I was that friend,
Oh,
right?
that freak friend.
No, she said she wasn't even fucking.
No, she was
I like
still a
that
freak. That don't mean
Thank
anything.
you.
She was still a freak. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We learning.
But like also with like the classes that I took, the assignments that I did, I was always leaning more towards sexuality based topics or wanting to advocate for folks who weren't seen in a lot of the literature and things like that. So I remember one of my first papers in undergrad was to do a character analysis on Alexis Mead from Ugly Betty. The show was a long time ago. I might be dating myself, but she was a transgender woman, right? And so that was always kind of in my brain, but I didn't know that sex therapy was a thing. I was just like, I'm going to be a therapist. I'm going to go into private practice after I've retired from the school system or something like that. And then I ended up getting a job at a high school, and they asked me to teach this sex ed class because I was a social worker there. And from that program, I was like, oh shit, I could like talk about sex all day and do this therapy piece. Like, I gotta figure out more about that. And so I connected with some folks, and they were like, yeah, it's a whole fucking program, human sexuality. You can get a master's degree in it. So I did it, and it was a wrap from there. And then my own like just upbringing, particularly in the church, I wanted to make sure I focus on Black women in particular who had a lot of hangups about shame and guilt related to their sexuality. Because I remember when I was younger, like, I got caught kissing a boy, and I went to a private school. I went to a Catholic school, and they were like, "Oh, what do you want to be, a slut when you grow up?" Like, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was
Catholic
just
school
kissing
was
a
definitely
boy.
like that.
I was at a profession, and you want to be a slut? Was the 401k?
Well, it's called.
401k. No, no.
There's definitely a profession for that.
Wait, but you know what's so interesting you say that? I notice, right, when people in professional positions, and bear with me, dentists usually don't have the best teeth. Barbers
False.
usually don't have haircuts.
False.
Because you're a sex therapist, does that mean your sex is that great? You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
No,
I just didn't like your
no,
build.
Dentist got good teeth.
My
Facts.
point is,
It must be
my
the
point
Brooklyn
is-
dentist.
It's fine, whatever.
Flatbush
It's a real
dentist.
question because people paint you and put you in a box. You get where I'm going with this mature question. Thank you. So,
One of the old school sex therapists used to always say,
Thank
y'all know Dr. Ruth, but she
Yeah.
would always say, the shoemaker's children never have any shoes. Like, whenever someone asks her that question. But that ain't the case for me. Like, I enjoy sex. I wouldn't say I'm the best in the world, but I enjoy
do you
it.
get put in an unrealistic box and do you withhold? Do you get put one in an unrealistic box, and then do you find that sometimes you're gonna withhold your title? It's almost like you don't tell a person they're rich. You rich because then they're gonna just look at you for your money. So you tell a person your profession, they automatically like, oh, sex goddess, or it might be intimidating for them. So yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna try to coach me while
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit it from the back.
Or I might not keep up. So yeah, you got it.
So I get a lot of that, right? Depending on the energy of the person, I may not share that I'm a sex therapist. I might just say I'm a mental health therapist in private practice, right? And then if I like them a little bit more, then I'll disclose that I'm a sex therapist. But I get a lot of, either they're really intimidated by it and don't want to, like, oh, I'm not ready for that, or they see it as a challenge. Like, Oh,
That's me.
I want to show you something different.
That
Like,
you
I
don't
can
know
turn
something.
you out. Or
And do
like
they?
something
Do they
like
turn
that.
you out or turn you off?
No.
Damn.
Probably turn her off.
Damn. Y'all
I'm that-
fellas-
And
that
I'm
guy.
very selective
the
about who I
challenger.
let in my space too. So not
Mm.
everybody even gets that opportunity to see if they could turn me out or not.
Smart
So
therapist, smart.
I have a question. So, like, going back to your, your clients, have you ever had clients that simply just kind of walk away from their sessions just unsuccessful? Like, there's no middle ground. They can't compromise. They can't figure it out.
yeah, I get those. I can't save everybody, and I'm not trying to either.
And so, what, like, do they like just have a sexless marriage? Do they divorce? Do they break up? Like, what? I mean, how does that typically work out?
Sexless man.
That's why I'm laughing. I didn't mean to laugh.
I mean, but I think this is a very relevant
It's
question.
a great question. I'm just picturing sexless marriage.
I mean, some people I
Well,
don't know what happens.
Sex with each other. That's probably.
I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, there are people who have very fulfilling marriages, and it does not include sex.
Let me shut up. Go ahead.
Wait, very
Thank you.
fulfilling.
Thank you.
Fulfilling.
You sure use the right word.
Yes.
There you go.
They can have long marriages without sex.
Let her go.
No, that's why I said let me
She
shut
gonna,
up.
she gonna get
What is being fulfilled?
Their
Everything else?
companionship, the connection
Yeah.
emotionally, and like having that
This
vulnerability
sounds
with
like
someone.
vegan cheese. It's not vegan sex. No, want the real thing. I'm sorry, Alan. I'm done. I'm sorry. It's not vegan.
It's not.
It's a vegan
They
marriage.
enjoy their marriage, and they're just a great team and great partnership, but sex isn't a priority for some reason or another, right? Sometimes there's medical conditions, sometimes there's just scheduling stuff that happens, and they're just like, this isn't a priority for me.
Nah, I'm cool with that.
Thank you.
I'm cool with. I don't even say I'm cool with it. I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, sex is still like, sex makes me treat you better. like when we have sex, I'm a nicer person. You know?
I'm in a better mood.
Yeah, I want to give you hugs. I become very affectionate. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if I don't have sex with you for 7 days, I might look at you and be like,
Why are you here?
what are you doing?
Ugh, if you don't stop breathing over here, damn.
They start getting annoyed. Yeah. Why you chewing like that?
I'm still
But
stuck
to
on
finish
that.
Aaron's
Yes.
question,
I'm sorry.
So some people, I just don't know what happens to them. They're like, this isn't working, and they drop off the face of the earth. I don't have that connection because it's I can't force them to be in therapy.
Right.
Other people have decided if the sex isn't working, they I don't always recommend this, but sometimes they open up the relationship and have sex with other folks. I don't recommend that without like some deep
Consent.
dive and really doing that research to figure that out. And others, end up divorced and just are great friends after the divorce, but they end up divorced.
You spoke about something before, earlier when we were prepping, and you mentioned something, and I kind of forgot it, but I want to bring it up. Was it consensual non-monogamy, right?
Mhm.
Can you touch on that for us?
So consensual non-monogamy is, pretty much open relationships where all parties involved know that there are other partners. So that's what polyamory falls under. That's what swinging falls under. Sometimes some different levels of kink and BDSM may fall under that. So it's more of an umbrella term
okay.
for,
That's dope.
folks who have multiple partners. But the key is everyone is aware that there are other partners.
So it's honest, non-cheating.
Right. Some people may call it ethical non-monogamy because there's some ethics behind it, but generally it's consensual.
Have you ever had?
Oh,
My bad.
listen, ask everybody. Could we all get into that?
Yeah. What I'm pushing for it here at the table. Go home.
I think if everybody's on the same page, like then
Yeah.
what's the complaint? To
Mm-hmm.
be honest.
No, but you personally, like Rico said, that's what he desires. Could you personally?
Yeah, if everything makes sense, everybody's on the same page, and we all have the same understanding. Yeah.
Can you do it, Oliver? Luke?
Apparently not. He
I'm still
giving
in
he
selfish
grilling
mode.
us.
I'm still in selfish mode because it's like I might just want I play, but you can't play outside.
No, sir.
Well, no,
That's why I
That
that's
happens a lot.
that's
too.
still
I
that's
think
still the
that
same
double
thing, right?
standard is.
Wait, hold on.
It is a
I was
double
with you. Hold
Yeah,
on.
no,
I was
but
with
they
her.
consent. You're right.
That's still consensual
consent, yeah.
non-monogamy.
Oh yeah, if she
Yeah, yeah.
consents that I can play, and she's okay.
There are
Yeah.
some folks who are okay.
That's the only way I'm trying to play too. Hold on, Oliver. What kind of person you take me for?
Because people all like what Aaron said, everybody in agreement.
But that's Aaron.
Everybody is, and that's what. No,
Oh,
That was
okay,
Aaron's-
My bad.
that was
my bad.
Aaron's-
I get it.
so
You're right.
everybody's still on the same
You're
page.
right. You're right. My bad. You're
The
right.
terms of the relationship
Yeah.
are
It's
different.
based on it. My bad.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Well, that when we reach on the same page, meaning like I can play, but ma'am, I would like for you.
Ma'am, I would. No, I would
Oh.
like.
You okay with
sir,
that?
but that ain't what that ain't what's going on over
Then
here.
they'll be taken off the table. Nothing. Let's go back to how it was.
So, what about having your partner not play while you get to play is acceptable for you?
Is this selfishness?
It's not selfishness.
Selfish.
It's called preferences.
No.
Oh.
No.
No, would I do that in my real life? No. But if I was to, try to do something different, it would be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just won't do it altogether. But it would be very selfish. Yeah. Because I don't trust the
Selfish.
persons that she might be with. It's
Wait,
trust
but-
them.
What?
What?
way?
I don't trust like.
She's letting you dig a hole.
No, if I'm okay with her sleeping with other men, I don't trust her and the people she might pick and sleep with. Because I feel like, and it's a biased thing, me being me and I'm a Taurus, I feel like, well, I'm picking some good girls and I know I'm clean and I'm going to have the conversation about them getting tested. I don't trust her to have that same conversation with some of the guys she may have sex
Why?
with. Most women don't have that conversation about, yo, when's the last time you've been tested? I'll be honest with you, being a
Most
single
women,
guy.
you know.
Yeah. This is not.
We know.
this is not a
Brooklyn
public-
women.
We know.
Brooklyn women.
This is,
This
and
ain't
also, this
Jersey
is not
women.
all the
No
women in
offense,
the world.
Brooklyn.
This is
I'm
not
just
all the
joking.
women in the world.
women there too.
But what I'm saying is that most times, because most of us men are taking charge in the bedroom, regardless if it's good or not. We're the ones taking charge in the bedroom. So I'm just saying women aren't saying, hey, when's the last time you got tested? Not saying never, but the percentage is not as high. I've dealt with girls that say we're not doing it without a condom and fine, but not every woman sticks to that. And I'm not shaming them for that, but I'm saying like, I just don't trust that, okay, she goes out and play and she's going to be like, no,
So you
condom
don't
only.
trust your partner. You wouldn't be
Right.
trusting your partner.
Yeah. And I said it's selfish.
So
And I wouldn't be trusting her judgment.
if
Yeah.
you cannot trust your partner,
Why you with her?
then
No, why open it up?
Keep it closed.
Thank you. I'm with you.
I trust you closed.
Yes, I trust.
Wait, what? So no, the thing is this: you're essentially saying, "Yo, I don't trust your judgment." So that's I don't trust your judgment overall.
No, just in that.
It could be certain situations.
Yeah, come on, you can't do that. I can trust you to cook, but I may not trust you to clean because I saw what you've been doing. Like,
But you ain't never done nothing.
no, I'm saying, but no, but I'm just talking about. Like I said, I just feel in my court. Not saying this is never gonna happen, but I'm fairly transparent, pretty transparent. And all I'm saying in my travels, and this is not for all women, most times women aren't saying, when's the last time you got tested? Women will say,
Do you have a condom? No.
that
Okay.
or sometimes like they ask about another girl. Like, no, just ask me about you. Like, sir, when's the last time you got tested? Don't worry about how many people I'm sleeping with. When's the last time you got tested? Where's the condom? Like, those are the questions women should ask.
They
and
don't be
I don't
asking.
know a shit ton of men who are also asking those same questions.
We don't.
either, right?
don't.
So
why
putting
would
it
she
out there,
trust you to open the shit
why
up?
should she trust you?
Then
as
she can
well?
voice that. And then we just, it moves off the, I said that how many times? If we can't come to this agreement, we just move it off the table. This is not Oliver's world or no world. But if you ask me what I would like the world to look like, just my way.
That's why opening up a relationship is a very serious matter.
why I
Like
won't
you
do it.
don't want to just,
That's why I won't do it.
oh, this will be fun. Like we could spice up our relationship. No, you don't want to do that. You
tell
have
every
it's a
girl the
very
last-
thorough conversation. That
Every
needs to
girl that I've dated in the last 5 or 6 years, I told them all from the very beginning, if you decide that you want to love me and you decide you want to put that effort into me, you need to understand one thing. I will have 2 wives. This is non-negotiable. If my mind changes as time goes on, then my mind changes. But as of right now, that's what I'm looking for. If you decide that you want to do this and you decide and you believe that you think you can, and then maybe when you get there you can't, that's a different conversation. but understand what you are signing up for, because it will happen, and I will exercise that right at some point in time. It might not be now, it might not be late, it might be 2 years, 3 years from now where I'm more comfortable doing it and I'm figuring it out, which is great being here at 8 at the table, because I'm learning a lot about this with all the different people to like pour the family and yourself. That's the type of way, and it's my play. You know what I'm saying? It's my play. She knows.
I have
she
a-
knows. She knows.
I have a question.
Thank you, babe.
So I have a question. So like just the legalities of that.
Yeah.
Like how do you intend to marry 2 women in the United States?
Well, maybe, right, in a legal sense, that might not be able to be the case, right? Because in America, you can only have one wife, to my knowledge. But in the realistics, like, I don't believe in really treating one different than the next. You know what I'm saying? Because I already know what type of issues that's going to cause. One will have a ring, of course. It's going to be the mother of my child. Right? But,
They don't both get a ring?
well, I mean like a legal ring.
Like
So
documentation.
Papers. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can have a commitment
I could buy 1,000
ceremony,
rings.
have a
Yeah,
nice
Right, that's what I was-
ring,
yeah,
like,
but
I
you
want a
know,
ceremony too.
Let's be realistic.
You get
though.
a ring. You get a ring.
You get a ceremony at probably at McDonald's.
You know how many
You don't get McDonald's, a little playhouse. You ain't gonna get the big thing.
a ring without papers is still a ring without papers to a
And
lot of
you
people.
can really get papers too, right? There's
Yeah.
so many
contracts.
polyamorous
Yeah.
relationships that they develop trust for the family.
Yeah.
They develop businesses, other entities where all the partners' names are included on it. So there's some sense of security in having this dynamic. Yeah,
I just learned that too, Oliver.
It's in New York too.
Like,
They're
it's
just
state by
contracts.
state.
No,
They're just
no,
contracts.
Just contracts. It's not. It's not a
And
marriage.
It
thing,
helps
just-
with
yeah.
getting like health insurance under everybody's names and like medical benefits. Like when someone passes on, if there are documents drafted, like a living will, like all that includes all of your partners in
Right.
there can be legally binding documents to support everybody.
I'll stick to
Right?
one.
I like
It may
that.
not be marriage, but
I stick
at
to
least
one.
there's some security in
I
that.
have a question. So, just in your practice, how often does it come up that one or both of the partners want to go from single sex with each other to having threesomes or group sex or orgies or something other than the 2 people in the relationship?
So it actually comes up a lot in my practice because my specialty is in kink, BDSM, and consensual non-monogamy, right?
Gotcha.
So people specifically come to me because they're considering possibly opening up a relationship, or they are already in some type of non-monogamous configuration where they're just like, okay, we button heads on some things, or it's 3 of us, but someone wants to add a 4th partner to the relationship. So like it happens a lot in my practice. This may not be regular in a lot of other people's practices, but it happens a lot.
There's 3 of us, and we want to add a 4th partner.
Somebody's hungry.
How do you maneuver? Like, what does that conversation even look like?
So it comes down to the root, the why. Like, what is it? What am I not getting possibly that another partner could fulfill? Where do I feel like there is some type of lack in, right? Or it could be like, I have extra love to give. So I want to figure out where I can kind of channel this love. Sometimes it's, somebody wants a baby and, the other partners have already had children, right?
Yeah.
Or other times it is finding another partner because they have some extra love to give that, can't be fulfilled within this dynamic already.
Does it ever happen where like a side piece is added, whether it's the woman's side man piece or the man's side woman piece?
Aaron, what are you
It
trying?
hasn't-
What are you trying to do, Aaron?
hasn't
Really
come
trying to
in.
ask for herself. Watch her play.
It hasn't come in my office yet, but I do know of situations where that has happened. From
Like successfully?
friends
Oh, okay.
and things like that.
Was it successful?
Some of them were, some of them were not, right? So
Because technically that's cheating, right?
I mean, yeah.
They were cheating. It was a side.
If it was a side piece that
initially,
did
yeah.
initially,
You brought it up.
yeah,
You said
that's
side.
cheating, right? So
Why you pointing to the sky? That's a cloud? Go ahead. Continue.
I have had this, this
Oh
one
my God.
friend who was a side piece, and she, they talked about possibly bringing her on as a third to their marriage. Well, the guy was talking about bringing her on as a third, and presenting it as like, oh, let's open the marriage up, and then, oh, this is somebody that might be interested in being at, not, the wife not knowing that he had already been in a relationship with her.
Wait, I have a question.
It didn't work out, but it was there.
Have you ever had? I'm just thinking, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a couple come in with another couple, as in to
We
be
wanna switch?
one?
Oh.
Like grapple.
Worse.
But she said it the right way. But I
we
was
define as swinging, right? And that they don't come to my office together to meet with that. They go to a
But,
sex
like,
party to figure that
no, I'm
out.
saying like, if they're like, yo, there's a guy and a girl and there's another guy and or whatever, right? This is just an example. A guy and a girl and another guy and a girl, and they're like, yo, we want to put all four of us together.
To form Voltron. I'm saying.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to become one big grouple.
Yeah.
A group,
Morphin' time.
a group couple.
Yeah.
Let's go,
I mean,
Power
it's
Rangers.
possible, but they haven't come to my office for that yet. Not yet.
Somebody got to go do that.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be
feel
shocked.
I feel like traditional swingers, they find their ways to develop. There's a term called swallies that came out probably about 10 years ago. It's a mix of swingers and polyamorous folks. So they're traditionally swingers, but they want more than just the sex. They want to build friendships and connections with other couples. So they might identify themselves as swally, and then they might be foursomes, sixsomes, all that.
Humans, we are
connecting
so
with each
powerful.
other.
Wow.
I
Wow.
always say you
humans.
can define your own relationships with your partner. So whatever you want it to look like between the two of you, even if that includes more folks, that's up to the two of you to decide.
With you doing this, with your profession, I mean, I know why you do it, but like ultimately, like your end goal, like still furthering what you want to do, like what else is next?
I want to continue to help folks feel sexually liberated, so they, know that they have the choice to design their sex lives whatever way that looks like. I don't see myself doing individual therapy for the rest of my life. I would love to expand. I love, hosting events and eventually do retreats and, all the good stuff. I I like to do a lot more. So eventually.
What are your so you said I think you said you started off like with the idea of treating Black women, or that was like your focus. Do you feel like Black women are like sexually suppressed or sexually traumatized, or like what do you? Okay, yeah, give me that.
Yeah. So again, my main focus is helping Black women and femmes, and that's the main focus of my private practice. And a lot of it is due to respectability politics that we've had to endure, due to what has happened to us due to enslavement, right? That generational trauma that has happened. It has, created religious persecution as well in terms of women, particularly Black women, just expressing their sexuality. So I'm trying to help Black women unpack all of that and really determine for themselves what they want their sexuality look like. So we there's so many different facets that oppress and repress our sexuality that I want them to be able to say, like, this is what I believe about my sexuality, not what anybody else has told me I should believe about my sexuality.
Where do you think most of the suppression comes from? Is it family? Is it church? Is it each other? Other Black women?
All of the things. Church has been a big one for a lot of my clients. Huge. Just thinking that sex is a sin in general. And then even for my clients who have waited till marriage to to have sex, they have sex with their partner and they still think they're like dirty and like that is really bad because they've constantly been told sex is bad, sex is dirty. And then so when they finally get to have sex, it's just like, well, I can't get rid of this thought that I've had for 20 some odd years in my life. Like, so it's
programming.
A lot of it is, the church, a lot of it is generational trauma, a lot of it is, societal standards of, what Black women should look like and be and behave and all that.
Gotcha.
I have a question. I want to focus. I don't even know exactly how the question I'm asking, but I want to maneuver this towards like a level of being like promiscuous. Is there like, has there or have you come across any, maybe I guess like overly promiscuous or maybe even not enough promiscuous problems within a relationship, despite whatever type of relationship it might have been?
So I don't know if I understand.
Like, for example, like let's say if a guy's like, hey, my lady's not dressing sexy enough, or let's say if a guy's like, she's always dressing the same way. Has that been like something that has come across you? I know it's technically not really like a sex-based therapist, but it is kind of fall into that umbrella in a light way. So I just wanted to touch on that.
I wouldn't say that specifically, but I think I come across a lot of couples who haven't really expressed their expectations and standards in their relationship, like what they actually are looking for in a partner. Like they've had it appear in their head, but haven't really expressed that to their partner. So, they have these desires for what their partner should look like, should do, and all that, but there has never been a conversation about what relationship looks like for them. So that's the first part, is talking about how do we want this to look.
Is that before or after? Like, is it like things you talk about, and I won't even say marriage. Is that something you talk about like when you first meet? Okay.
Once you decide that, okay, we are going to be in a committed relationship, we're going to do this damn thing, you should have these conversations about expectations in your relationship. And I personally, I encourage folks to go get couples counseling, even if they are not married yet, if they are really committed to each other, and especially if they plan on moving in with each other. I think couples counseling could help you worlds before you go into that deeply.
I got an amazing question for you.
Not amazing.
No.
Amazing.
This is profound. Think about this. All right, listen, y'all gonna be like, what? So you are out here therapizing the world, doing your good.
That word.
See?
Is that a real word?
No, it's not, but people use it a lot. Yes.
I'ma still remember
Every
that.
time, are you therapizing me? No,
So
you don't
with
pay
that
me
being
enough
said,
for that.
You out here touching and healing wounds and penises and all of that. But who are you going to get therapy? When if
My
you
own
are going through what you're
therapist.
going through. No, but that could be biased, right? So I'm saying, like, because, like, just like the pastor, right? He's helping everyone else, but who is the pastor laying his burden down to? Who is there for
mentor?
the pastor?
His mentor,
I'm
his
just saying.
own, like, some pastors
Spiritual
have
advisor.
spiritual
So you have that?
advisors.
You have a spiritual
I
sex
have
advisor?
a therapist, yes.
Oh, that's what I was asking. Like, who you going to for your sexual healing? No
I'm
pun
not going to
intended,
share my
Marvin Gaye.
therapist's name.
No. I just want to know, like,
Because why?
Because that's my therapist.
No,
and I
no,
want
no.
everybody.
I only asked
I mean,
that-
I want her to be successful, but she's my therapist.
I only ask that because that's a real thing. Like, if you're helping others, who's helping you? And that's what it
Right.
really is.
It is highly encouraged in our counselor training a lot of times for us to seek therapy of our own. So I have been in and out of therapy literally since undergrad, because that's when I started my psychology career. So it's important because you're listening to and hearing a lot of issues with other people. And sometimes we take that on, and we have to make sure that we're not being biased about certain things, particularly if we're going through a lot of shit in our own lives. So we have to have someone to help us kind of unpack all of our stuff so we could focus on our client stuff.
And is your therapist your sex therapist or just your therapist?
No, she's just a regular therapist. I'm pretty much the only Black sex therapist in New Jersey that's certified anyway. There's other people who specialize in it, but
Shout out to
You
her.
have no one
Right.
kinda to go to.
Right.
no. I have a lot of colleagues, like if I really need to process something, like
Got
I can
it.
talk to them, but they're not in the state of New Jersey. So yeah.
I'm glad you
They
said
just
that.
out here giving advice. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Wait, no. I'm so glad you said that.
Right.
I'm gonna be so
No,
trans.
they're certified. They just not in Jersey.
I'm gonna give you the honest to God truth, and Alan knows this is the truth as well. Cause I asked him, I said, "Yo, like, so many sex therapists out in the world. Like, how are they, like, is this like a license thing? Like, how do they even get this? Like, I feel like people just out here talking. He's like, no, everything is legit. She's legit. She's dope. She's licensed and everything. I said, all right, cool. I appreciate it, because I feel like every other week I'm hearing there's a new sex therapist, and I'm like, what do you know about it? Like,
too, right? Because I'm an AASECT certified sex therapist. The only state is, I want to say, Florida, where you have to be a licensed sex therapist to call yourself sex therapist. Every other state in America, you do not have to have any type of certification. You can literally just say, oh, I want to specialize in this, and now I'm going to specialize in this. So you do want to check people's credentials to see what type of training they have had, because like I said, there's a lot of people who say they specialize in sex therapy who are in the state of New Jersey, but there is not a lot who are certified or have had some type of formal training in it.
Yeah, you don't got that paper.
Literally.
I have another question, and this is about porn, and we've talked about this on the show a lot.
Porn.
No, I didn't say I love porn.
There's nothing
She
wrong
loves
with loving
porn.
porn.
I like porn. Like, I engage. You know what I'm saying?
You wearing a cheetah shirt. You wearing a cheetah shirt. She gotta love porn. Come on
I
now.
love me a good animal print now.
I started to wear my cheetah dress, so
You got
I'm
cheetah
good. I guess
shoes.
yes, I got my
Hey,
cheetah
so that's
shoes.
great. All right.
I love me a fire animal print.
All right.
But no, I want to get your perspective on porn and how it helps and how it could potentially be detrimental to a couple's relationship, their sexual relationship.
So porn can definitely normalize certain things that folks are interested in, and so
Choking.
yeah. So folks can see like, oh, I have this desire, and other people have this desire too. But it can also be unrealistic at times, because like we're seeing the edited version of this. We're not seeing the dick going limp. We're not seeing, the vagina drying up a little bit, so you got to add more lube to it. Like, you're not seeing the gas that is passed. Like, you're not seeing a realistic.
You're watching the highlights.
Ain't no queefs. Ain't no queefs in there.
All I see is Tim's and porn, and it's wild, as I'm saying.
So you have to look at porn for what it is, entertainment, right? And I think some people see it as like life, but it can't be like that. It really has to be like, this is entertaining. Maybe I can get a few ideas, but I'm not going to go crazy because maybe my man can't do all that stuff. Like, so you got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, maybe my girl ain't that flexible.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everybody putting their legs in the back of their head. Like, that's just too much.
Yeah, maybe people not waking up stretching their hips every day. You know what I'm saying?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, the hip situation
flexors.
gotta be right.
That's unfortunate. Damn.
Are you
But I love
stretching
porn.
every day?
It's good.
I'm a limber enough.
I'm limber.
Yeah. But I still know, my limitations though, by far. I know my limitations, man. Sometimes you can get one round and that's it. Hey.
Wait, but are both parties satisfied in that one
I'll
round?
make sure enough, like at least you'll come from the head.
Enough.
Like if I don't make you come from my penis, I'm at least, I'm gonna massage you. I'm gonna do other things. I'm gonna get you close.
I'm gonna get you close.
Close,
But no cigars.
It's not always every time, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna be trash. Be like, he tried. He tried. Okay, thank you. Then the next time I do better.
I'd be
Or the
lying if I
energy
said
better.
every time. Like,
Yeah.
listen, as a guy, sometimes you just
That's it.
don't perform. Like,
One stroke joke.
Sex doesn't always have to be about the orgasm either. Like,
Well,
even though
for a
it's
guy.
great for either person, even though it's great, yes, it's more about the pleasure you experience with that person, that connection.
Erin
And if you
disagrees.
enjoy that, then it's a successful sexual
She's not the cheater
experience.
sister no more. She said, nah.
I did.
Erin, you went like, nah, if you were making me come.
And
In this
you know,
contract,
your
it says, if you don't make me
pleasure
come,
is
you're
your own
divorced.
responsibility,
Yeah.
right? So, like,
No, I agree.
You can't always depend on somebody else to bring you to an orgasm if that's super important to you.
You can't push their head down there.
You can push that.
Erin.
That's
And you can
that's
whip
you
out-
taking
you can
charge
whip out
of
your
your
toy afterwards.
Wow.
of your pleasure.
You can make sure they engage in
Yeah,
you
she's
in
holding the
outer
mic.
play before like something.
Erin, word today is consent. We're going to go back to the penis on the face without Erin, consent. Listen,
Yeah, we consent to the
it
experience.
looks like it's we. It sounds like it's just what it. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
We're consenting to the experience, Oliver. Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Anywho,
Uh-huh.
huh? We are.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have had an amazing show. Wait, did you give all your information so people can know?
No.
All right, wait. We gotta know people gotta know how to find you. Your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Y, and Z.
So I do have
Brooklyn.
Instagram. It is NJ_sex therapist. That's the main channel I'm on. I'm also on Facebook under Shanta Blue LCSW. But mostly go to my website, www.bluewellnesscenter.com. And that's where you can find me, all my events that I have. I have an event coming up soon. So I'm
What is
excited
it? Let us
about.
know.
So I host Munches in New Jersey, and Munches are these social gatherings for folks who are interested in kink, BDSM, and consensual non-monogamy. But I focus on Black women and femmes. So it's just for Black women. It's called Black Girls Munch. And this month we're doing a Black Girls Munch and Brunch to celebrate my birthday.
That's a lot of eating.
Oh, happy birthday.
It is eating. Oh, my mind went to munch.
So we have brunch. We have unlimited mimosas. I'll be doing an intro to impact play demonstration there. So I'm excited for that. That's on September 18th.
What is impact play?
So anything where there's some type of tool used to
Choking.
To hit you.
Oh, okay,
Choking.
okay.
whether it's spanking, flogging, just hitting the body.
And it's only for women?
Impact.
My event is only for women.
Only for women always?
Only for women. Not always, but for this event.
I don't feel like
So
you
that
no
women
more.
can, figure out how to be responsible for their own pleasure.
I want to learn, but I want to
love it.
learn.
You
I
just
want to
say
be
that?
there.
I love it.
I want to learn.
I eventually do want to
I got
do
some
more
recommendations.
co-ed events, but I haven't found a guy to team up with to be able to do that.
I
would
feel like
enjoy.
Oliver want to volunteer.
I'll be a videographer.
So that now that I know that you could
Like,
just call yourself a sex therapist,
Yeah.
I'll be your partner in crime.
You had me at munch. You had me at munch and brunch. You had me at munch and brunch. That's the honor I just thought about everybody's munching.
I just
on
need
each other.
a male partner to
It is
bring out the
freaky.
guys because it's hard to get guys to come out to these events
That's
sometimes.
easy.
That's the
Is it
easiest
because
part.
is it the ego? Is that why?
I know mad dudes in Brooklyn
They're
right
very
now.
intimidated.
Flatbush, Crown Heights, let's link up.
They're
Let's go.
Very intimidated.
Oh,
But
Jesus,
That's
you
the
just
thing. I
bring it
want to
in.
bring it to Jersey because there's tons of munches and things like that in New York. Like
Oh, that
everybody
makes
goes
sense,
there,
yeah.
but there's not a lot going on for Black people in New Jersey.
Got it.
And what does munch mean?
Everybody's eating on each other, right?
So it's called a munch because traditionally you go to like a bar or a restaurant or, everybody just meets up in a very vanilla space and just hangs out and talks and gets to know everybody. So it's not like, people coming in their fetish gear or anything like that. You're just hanging out, having a meal and connecting with folks.
Kind of like a meet and greet.
Yeah.
Essentially
Okay.
it
Eat and eat. I just heard
That's
munch.
where the munch comes
Meet and beat.
There you go. There you go. That's it. We on a road today, baby. Yeah.
Y'all,
gotta wrap it up.
today has been crazy.
Yes.
Oh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Yo, today was dope.
You're my
Love the
new favorite Virgo.
conversation.
Shanta Blue.
So y'all, we love y'all. Thank you for the support. Make sure you look out for Date Box coming. Sign up to our YouTube. Follow us, donate, send your tithes, offerings, love gifts. We appreciate everything. Interact in the comments. All you thumb thugs, on the days that I have time, I will come for you. No, but real talk. We love y'all. Thank you so much. And we'll see y'all next week.
Later. Oosh.